333 BCE, near Issus. On a narrow strip of land, trapped between mountains and sea, two armies collide.
One built on imperial power, the other on discipline and nerve.
Darius III, King of Kings, arrives in person with an army drawn from across Asia.
Elite cavalry, the Immortals,
and Greek mercenaries paid to kill their own kind. He believes Alexander the Great is cornered, outnumbered, exhausted, and cut off from retreat.
By every rule of ancient warfare, Darius should win.
He doesn't.
Within hours, the Persian army collapses, not because it was destroyed, but because something far more dangerous breaks: authority itself.
For the first time in Persian history, the King of Kings abandons the battlefield while the outcome is still undecided.
This documentary recreates the Battle of Issus with cinematic reconstructions and tactical analysis, showing how Alexander turned impossible odds into a moment that redefined power in the ancient world.
In this video, you'll discover why Issus was a battle neither king planned to fight, how Alexander exploited terrain to neutralize Persian numbers, the role of Greek mercenaries and the Immortals at the river Pinarus,
why Darius believed Alexander was trapped, and why he was wrong. How a single cavalry breakthrough shattered imperial command. Why losing the king mattered more than losing the army. How Issus set the stage for the siege of Tyre and the fall of Persia.
Issus did not end the Persian Empire, but it broke its center of gravity.
After this battle, cities would open their gates. Treasuries would surrender without a fight.
And Alexander would no longer be seen as a conqueror, but as a king.
If you enjoy cinematic history, ancient warfare, and battles that changed the world, you're in the right place.
Like and subscribe for more legendary battles and historical breakdowns.
Your comment is your standard. Plant it for the algorithm.
333 BCE, near Issus. Picture this. You are marching north along a narrow strip of land. Mountains pressing in on one side, the sea blocks the other.
There is no space to retreat. In front of you stands the Persian Empire.
Darius III has finally come in person.
With 100,000 soldiers drawn from every corner of Asia.
Elite cavalry, the Immortals,
and Greek mercenaries paid to kill their own kind.
Alexander is completely out of position.
He commands barely 37,000 men.
Unrested after weeks of hard marching, and badly outnumbered.
Worse still, Darius believes he has trapped him. The Persian king thinks the war is about to end.
That the Macedonian army has been cut off and cornered.
By every rule of ancient warfare, he is right. But Issus is not the battle Darius thinks he is fighting. Send the cavalry to the right flank. Move now! Within hours, everything the Persians believed about this battle will be wrong.
For the first time in Persian history, the King of Kings will abandon the battlefield while the fighting is still undecided.
Alexander will not destroy an empire that day, but he will shatter the authority that holds it together.
How did an army that should not have survived force the most powerful ruler on earth to turn and flee in the middle of battle?
By the end of this video, you'll see how a battle that should have been lost redefined what power meant in the ancient world.
So why do historians still return to Issus?
This is not a battle either king planned to fight.
Before the armies meet, you need to see the moves that forced them here.
Because Issus begins long before the fighting does.
Alexander had crossed into Asia and smashed Persian forces at the Granicus River.
Then he did something unexpected.
Instead of marching inland toward the Persian heartland, he turned south, seizing ports, cities, and coastlines.
not to conquer land, but to destroy Persian naval power. City by city, the coastline fell.
The Persian fleet was slowly strangled.
But Persia does not sit idle.
After the shock of Granicus, the empire adapts. Darius places the war in the hands of one of the few men who understood how dangerous Alexander was. Memnon of Rhodes, a Greek mercenary commander in Persian service. Memnon avoids direct battle. Instead, he opens a second front. Persian fleets surge back into the Aegean. Greek cities begin to waver. Rebellion stirs behind Alexander's lines.
For the first time, the invasion is genuinely endangered, not by armies in front of him, but by collapse at home.
Alexander is overextended, far from Greece, with no navy and no margin for error. Then, without warning, the war changes, not through battle, but through chance.
Memnon's campaign came to an abrupt end. Struck by sudden illness, the brilliant commander was gone, leaving Persia without its greatest strategist. Historians would later argue about what this meant: luck, fate, or simply the randomness that governs war. Whatever it was, Alexander is spared the fight he might not have survived.
The Persian counteroffensive loses its architect, and with him, its momentum. Now the war stops drifting and starts moving toward collision. While Alexander advanced further into Asia, the response comes from the heart of the empire.
In Susa, Darius III does not hesitate.
He orders a royal army assembled, not a satrapal force, not a proxy war. An army drawn from across Asia, tens of thousands of cavalry, infantry, the full weight of imperial power.
For the first time, the great king will lead in person.
Darius marches west with his court, his treasury, and his family traveling with the army. This is not just a campaign. It is a display of authority in motion. Both armies move towards Syria, each believing they were forcing the other into a trap. Alexander reached Issus first. The city fell quickly, and before marching south, he left behind his wounded men too sick or injured to continue.
Then Darius made his move.
He marched north through the mountain passes, slipped behind the Macedonian army, and seized Issus itself.
What he found there was not a garrison, but Alexander's wounded. They were executed.
When the news reaches Alexander, everything changes.
The Persian king is no longer ahead of him. He is behind.
That night, Alexander gathers his commanders. There is no speech meant to inspire, only certainty. They will turn back.
They will march through the darkness. They will take the pass before dawn.
The army moves at night, torches kept low, orders whispered. By midnight, they reach the heights again. The pass is taken.
Sentries are posted along the rocks. The army rests in silence, waiting for light.
The darkness lifts. Below lies a narrow plain, and the Persian army waiting. There is no room left for hesitation. This was not a battlefield chosen by either king.
It was a narrow coastal plain. The sea pressed in from the west. Mountains rose steep and sheer to the east.
Here, space vanished. Persia's greatest strength, its numbers, had nowhere to go.
Cavalry could not sweep wide. Formations could not expand.
An army built to overwhelm was forced to compress.
Alexander saw it immediately. This land did not reward size. It rewarded control, timing, and nerve. Both armies arrived, believing there will be no second chance.
To understand what happens next, you need to see where everyone stands. Darius deploys first. At the center, he places himself in the royal chariot, guarded by the Immortals. With Greek mercenaries packed tightly along the riverbank, infantry filling the narrow plain behind them. Persian archers mass in the rear,
Cavalry crowds the shoreline near the sea.
On the other side, Alexander answers with precision, his center formed by heavy infantry with long sarissa pikes. Issus did not end Persian resistance. Darius still lived.
The empire's heart still beat, but its center had been broken.
The King of Kings had fled his own battlefield, and everyone saw it.
Then Alexander turned south, toward Tyre, mother of the ancient city of Carthage, an island fortress unconquered for centuries, protected by walls, water, and absolute confidence. He would lay siege for 7 months, build what should be impossible, and break a city that believed it could never fall.
History never truly disappears, and its echoes still shape our world today.
If this journey through the ancient world captivated you, hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments which historical battlefield we should explore next.